All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is the Pathway to Adventure Council Advancement and Recognition webinar. Every month on the third Thursday, we cover different advancement and recognition topics of all kinds of different sorts to give free information, and especially on a nice wintry night like tonight, you can come in and learn some great things. Tonight's topic is actually regarding all things STEM and NOVA and the awards. So I real quick want to introduce everybody. My name is Chris. I have the honor of being the Council Advancement Chair. And then we have Carol, who is the Advancement Chair from TriStar, and Tom Wetzel, who is the Advancement Chair from Portage Creek. But our featured presenter tonight, also a member of our committee, he's also the head of STEM and all the ANOVA awards for our council, and he is the National STEM and Scouting Chair. So there's nobody better to speak about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Mr. Don Harris.
Welcome, everybody, and I'm glad that you're safe and sound out of the elements right now. So, and yes, there is a way that you can use STEM in your winter outdoor experience. It does exist. Now, that'll be the trick for you to tell me what it is at the end of the presentations. So think about it for a little bit. So welcome, Helena, welcome, Lynette, and welcome, Grandma. So anyway, as Chris had mentioned, I've been involved with the National Committee as far as the STEM and Scouting at the national level for just a little over 3 years. My term expires at the end of May 31st of this year. So the good news is I've got 8 or 9 fantastic people that I've been able to pull into the committee among the other 10 that were on it. So the credit goes to them because these are the people that helped put this together. One of the things we're doing high level, let's just show a raise of hands. How many have gone through the STEM NOVA University training? It's three different topics on Scouting U. So raise your, you can either do it like this or you can do it via the electronically. So how many have gone through that? Okay, Grandma, you have not, and Elena, you have not? Okay, Lynette, have you? Okay, so she may be on mute and is not able to get, so I'm going to assume that all of you have not had a chance to go through the training. It is online there. You can get a lot of the basics there, but as we've gone through the DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion, one of the things we've revamped all of the STEM content on the national website for everything from Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Venturing, and Sea Scouts, including the training university. However, the program at the national level to do any changes, it's all on freeze mode because of the financial impact. So we've done a couple of beta testing of some of the modules here, but we went from 3 modules to 6 modules to meet what are the needs of the people that are really passionate about STEM. So this is an orientation just to get your feet wet, and we can talk offline afterwards to help you with your unit, your district, from the Order of the Arrow, from a chapter lodge standpoint, as well as council, day camps, resident camps, summer camps, how to get this program implemented from the unit level all the way up to national program level. So with further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start. So let's see. Go to share my screen here. Okay, that's what I thought was going to happen, and just give me a second here. So here's the, so let me pull up the elevator. I'm going to go to B which hopefully will take that to over here so I can actually see the layout as we do it. So okay, slideshow, there we go. It's not cooperating with me. All right, yeah, let's see. Let's do it another way here. Let's show you and outline notes page. Okay, that's better. Okay, so as far as Scouts have always done STEM, as a matter of fact, for one of the things we did at the national level, both at Philmont and also at a couple of other different locations at National Order of the Arrow Conference in 2018, we actually showed for the Order of the Arrow how the Native American actually was using STEM principles back in the 17 and 1800s. So it's been around for a long time is the bottom line. So as far as this goes, we have, and I'm going to blow this up so I can read it. So Cub Scouts considers the science of weight distribution and wheel alignment as they are doing their Pinewood Derby cars. Older Scouts, when constructing a Pioneer project that's shown on the screen right here, also look at, okay, such things as a carousel. This was built at the World Scout Jamboree, and you have to consider weight, balance, the different types of materials, and safety as you construct and build the activity. Hands-on activities in the STEM or in the science, technology, engineering, and math areas, or STEM for short, are a big part of what we do. But we don't say what we're doing. We do fun things such as activities as rockets or archery or fishing. We practice teamwork, leadership, and we teach the Scoutings to plan, and then we discuss what they did it work, and what didn't work, and possibly what could they do to improve. This helps them learn by doing with hands-on approach. Okay, so let's get over here. And get over here. So how do you include STEM in your program? You already are including it, but you may not realize it or have an intentional part of it. This part of it is letting the parents know that you know that STEM is important in their kid's future. In other words, it's a life skill that has to be in their toolbox for them to be successful after high school, as they get into trade schools and college, etc. And encourage the Scouts to pay attention to what they're doing, what's around them. Mention that STEM aspects are monitoring the weather before a camping trip, considering the different ways to measure distance and time to travel on a hike. And in Scouts, learn the key thing that we're working on promoting nationally, as well as the NST or the National Service Territories and the council level, is STEM has got to be fun. And it's got to be simple. The activities have got to be simple to be able to do and easy to execute. And how do you start a unit level district council activity, or how do you get the stuff going in that? So for example, here on the sidewalk here, from a conservation and environmental standpoint, the Scouts actually here are painting and doing a service project that shows how pollutants could impact the storm drain, causing problems downstream. So learning, doing, and being Scouts while they're doing it. There are many Cub Scout adventures such as STEM, involving STEM. There are also many Scout BSA merit badges involving STEM. And even when you're doing venturing in Sea Scouts, you can't do those without having STEM involved with it, such as the sailing picture that is shown here. In addition, there are specific STEM related NOVA awards and Supernova awards and they're age appropriate activities emphasizing the various different topics. For example, the Cub Scout Out of the World Nova Award explores astronomy and includes having a star party. The Scouts BSA Up and Away Nova explores fluid dynamics and possibly explores chemistry, plumbing, aviation, and oceanography merit badge. STEM and Scouting, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we need to have, just like in the past for Scouts BSA, tenderfoot through first class, we were teaching them survival skills in the wilderness or in the outdoor program. Well, now STEM and Scouting, we need to teach the youth in the future, not just a handful of youth, but all of the youth, so they have the basic fundamental skills to be able to survive in whatever discipline or field that they want to go into. And a lot more of the information is at this website link that is shown on the screen, www.scouting.org/STEM-Nova-awards. And so here's a couple of examples where, we have Cub Scouts and we have Scouts BSA involved with doing different things here. There's many resources to be able to help you out. So you do not have to reinvent or create the wheel yourself. We encourage you to help your Scouts to develop the survival skills for their future by intentionally including STEM activities in your program. That's the elevator, high level, what is STEM all about? Now going into the little bit of detail, the next thing here, and we'll get to this, the next thing that I want to cover. So the three areas that I want to cover tonight, and Tom or Carol, if you can give me a high, let's see, it's 7:15 right now. So that's about 10 to 15 minutes. Before I go on, is there any high level fundamental questions that I might be able to answer? You can go off mute if you have any specific questions, or we can address them at the end. We'll go ahead and address them at the end. So the second topic that I'm going to cover is as far as the Nova Award counselor or the Nova counselor and the Supernova mentor. What does it take? What are the two areas of recognitions, and how do you become, as an adult, how do you become involved with that and interact with your unit level? So I will be going through that. The third thing that I will be covering is actually how do you teach a Nova. In this case, I'm going to use Cub Scouts as an example. So I'll get into that as a high level, and depending upon what we have in the time, we may not have enough time to go through it. So we can always do a second workshop or seminar on just that and the next level of detail. So anyway, as far as the I'm going to go ahead and go to here. Okay, now it worked like I thought it was going to. Okay, so in this, let's see here. So in the module, we're going to be covering the basic requirements and training for Nova counselors. And let's see, how do I get rid of the, I have the screen. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to, the people attending are blocking some of my screen here. So that's what I was trying to figure. Let me try it this way and move on. Okay, that's better. Okay, in this module, we're going to cover the basic requirements and training for Nova Awards for counselor and the Supernova mentors, as I mentioned. When we're finished, there are supplemental training courses on specific STEM activities and topics that you can deep how to employ STEM in the scouting activities of your unit, district, council, and in various different summer camp experiences. So there are now once we get into this, there are some objectives that we're going to cover. So some of the objectives are, what's involved with registration, what are some of the risks that we have, and what is the risk assessment using the EDGE method, which Scouts BSA use, but it also blends over into the Scouts or the Cub Scout program as well, and the younger Scouts BSA. More recommendations or requirements, and then how do you record and how do you report it out? So the first thing is, how do you register as a NOVA counselor? You have to be 21 years old, registered in the Scouts BSA, have the full background check, have the youth protection training. And the most important thing is most people feel I have to have a scientific background required to be able to be a NOVA counselor. No, it's as simple as if you have a high school education and graduated from high school, you can be a NOVA counselor, not a problem. For a Supernova mentor, you must be 21 years old. Let's see, I need to move this over just a little bit. Hang on. There we go. You must be 21 years old or older, must be current with your youth protection. And for the Supernova mentoring, they do need to be subject matter in one of the fields of the STEM fields. And there are additional supplemental information for that and how to apply. And there's actually an application besides the application. You also have to, there's a questionnaire that you have to fill out to say what your qualification, why you should be considered as a Supernova mentor. The next thing we're going to get into is what are the NOVA awards? As you can see here, there's many different areas of interest. There's a patch, high pin, and the requirements are now all listed online. So who can tell me why the three different NOVA patches? And you can shout it out. Anybody know? Lena or let's see, Carol, or let's see who else is on. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll give you another couple of seconds to respond. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and share. So the Cub Scouts has the blue border around the patch. And that's after you earn the first NOVA award, the Cub Scouts get this patch. For Scouts BSA, the patch has a red border around it, which is the colors for the Scout troop. And then the aqua color is for venturing and Sea Scouts. So after you've earned your first NOVA award in each one of the programs, Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Venturing / Sea Scouts, you get the patch. The second you earn, then you earn a pie pin that pin on one of the different one of the triangle points. Let's see, did that go? Yes, okay. So that's for the NOVAs. Now for the Supernovas, the Cub Scouts can actually, or after you experiment and learn a little bit about the NOVAs, the purpose of the NOVAs is to present the youth what is STEM, give them an overview. Are they interested with it? If they are, they can earn a couple of different NOVAs and earn the pie pins. If they're still really passionate about it, at the Cub Scout levels, there's two different levels of Supernova awards. One's for the Wolf Bear and one's for the Webelos Arrow of Light. Now, currently right now, we're in the process of getting the program for lion and tigers as well, but currently, as of right now, it's not published out there yet. So, but that is coming down the wayside for everybody's benefit. So it's age appropriate from the beginning all the way up to you're 20 as an adventure or a Sea Scout. Now with Scouts BSA, after you earn the Novas, so many Novas, then you can work on the Dr. Bernard Harris Supernova Award. And then if you're still interested as a Scouts BSA, then you can earn these Thomas Edison, Alva Edison Silver. So it's a medallion on a ribbon suspended around your neck. Now, if one of the youth wants to go from Scouts BSA and cross over and join venturing and or Sea Scouts, if they don't have to start all over from as far as the bronze, silver, as far as the medal goes, like they did in Scouts BSA. So if you've earned this Dr. Bernard medal, then you would actually, as this diagram shows, then you would work on the Wright brothers, which is the silver medal for venturing Sea Scouts. And if you wanted to go further, then you would actually earn the gold medal, which is only available in venturing and Sea Scouts. So likewise, if you've earned the Bernard Harris and Thomas Edison Supernova as Scouts BSA, then once you join venturing and Sea Scouts, then you would only have to work towards the Einstein Award. So now, how do you get started? Apart from being aware of the requirements, you should also lay out expectations in your first meeting with the youth and help identify where the youth may need to focus their efforts. But youth should select the options within the requirements to fulfill, and it's your job both to guide them and evaluate the work and make sure it's being done correctly. You also need to track their progress. Notebooks, files could be stored securely. And also I've created some job aids, but now with the Scout book, you're able to do a lot more of that now as we move forward with the technology in that. So one of the key things, one of the most important things, and I see it definitely in the electrical power industry and also with the construction field, the safety is the most important thing that we have to keep in the back of our mind, because in 1 second that experiment can go south on you, or that activity can go south on you and someone could get hurt. An innocent bystander could get hurt, or a youth or another adult. So you obviously want to avoid that. So there's an acronym called PAUSE. So pause before you start anything and ask yourself some questions. Is it possible for someone to get hurt? So you're assessing the area. Do you understand how to proceed safely so that the proper PPE or personal protective equipment is there so that someone doesn't get hurt? And then share what your plan is with other people so you're not the only one that knows it. And then obviously execute the activity so it's done safely in an expedient manner. And let's see. Remember, if you cannot conduct the activity safely, then you should not be doing the activity at all. You must not be doing it because it's just too high of a risk. A, someone's going to get hurt, but as the most important thing, but B, you're going to give that youth or other adults that are bystanders a bad taste of it. As I'd mentioned with the EDGE method before, we actually have the ability to, at different ages, as a NOVA coach, you're going to actually explain and demonstrate through the activities that you're doing. So what the NOVA award is all about, or what the specialty is, whether it's science, technology, engineering, or math field. So you're actually going to do that. So that's for the Cub Scout level and also the younger Scouts BSA. Then as you get into the older youth and Scouts BSA and the older youth programs with venturing and Sea Scouts, then you're going to help them guide and learn about the topics, and then you're going to enable and let them learn by doing, and then just being in the backgrounds for support for that. So you're with the older youth program, you're going to be doing less of the explaining and demonstrate, because you'll be surprised, a lot of the youth will actually be able to explain and demonstrate to their peers for something that maybe perhaps someone may not know. So you've got to give them a chance to demonstrate that. So how do you get started? So from a record keeping standpoint, there's ways with the NOVA award. Some of the units, some of the districts and councils across the country use a facsimile of the blue card, like the merit badge blue card for tracking the applications. Also, USSscouting.org has different worksheets that you can also download. If anybody has a question on that, I can help answer that, or just by doing your internet searches, you can find it. There's a lot of resources out there. But for the Supernova, you definitely need to record it, fill out the application after the youth has completed all the requirements for the particular Supernova. Then you've got to fill this form out. Is it for Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA? Which Supernova award is it for? And then, so obviously you need to have the recipient's name and contact information, and also the mentor, the Supernova mentor's name, phone number, and the way to contact them, and what council are they with. Some of these might also be done virtually in other councils, and that's okay. But again, one of the things that with Amy, Chris, and myself, what we'll do is verify that just like with the merit badge counselors, the units verify that the counselor is trained youth protection and also is registered as a merit badge counselor. Same thing, we want to make sure that they're also registered as a NOVA counselor and or a Supernova mentor, and that they've gone through the training, similar to like what you would do with the merit badge counselor training. It's like you wouldn't have a baseball coach coaching your youth if he didn't know what he was doing in teaching baseball skills. So it's the same principle. So under part 1, part 2, as I covered, then part 3, you would actually get the leaders to sign it. The candidates would sign it that they've completed the requirements. The Supernova mentor would approve it. And depending upon the district council, whether the advancement committee or the district or council has a STEM committee, that the chairman for that particular district would sign it. In our case, we do not have a council STEM chairman. So Chris and Amy have asked me to provide that function in that role. So I've agreed to do that. Once that review has happened, that with the proper documentation, and again, as I was saying, record keeping is perfect. So some of you may be aware of the former Hornaday Award recognition. Is as you went through the 2nd, 3rd, 4th project, you had to have the workbook, or like an Eagle project, you had to have all of the documentation there showing all of your work and making sure. Well, you have to include that as you submit that to the council. So just having this form here lays the groundwork, because as you go up to the Einstein, which was for the Venture and Sea Scout, you need to have all of that documentation for the national committee to review it. So there's 5 or 6 people on my national committee that will actually go through and review the Einstein Supernova recognition. We've had 12 youth go through that. In fact, Gavin McMillan is the most recent one to have completed that. That is the Einstein. So he'll be getting his recognition a little bit later this year. Let's see. So the key thing is the NOVA and the Supernova awards are typically presented at a blue and gold or a court of honor or or any type of recognition that the venturing and or Sea Scouts would have. You want to make, if possible, have the Supernova mentor there to attend to congratulate the youth. It is a big deal. So you may want to have it like a district or council newsletter, or like I know when I first started as the chairman for the Legacy Council, Northwest Suburban, we actually had the first 2 or 3 presented at the adult recognition dinner, the Silver Beaver dinner, just to get the visibility out there. So it's a big deal. And again, it's something that the youth are proud of, and obviously the parents and the adults involved with the program. Now, as far as this summary, you need to register, you need to look up what the requirements are. And for each of the awards, it's dependent upon the program that you're in. And the link that's shown on the page there is where you can get that. And you need to follow the plan. Have a layout, track your progress, make sure safety is involved, using the EDGE method for all levels, record, and then obviously the most important thing is to celebrate and have fun while you're doing all of this. Okay, now let me get to the last one. Let's see here. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second so I can find my screen here. Okay, what happened here? Yeah, there we go. It's starting to come back. Oh, maybe that's what. Oh. All right, let me do this here. Let me get to Plan B. Okay. It didn't work as it's supposed to. Hang on, sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, now. Okay, well, we'll do it this way here. So it isn't quite this. The second one worked very well. So now let's, maybe that's why. Let's see, do it this way. All right, this is. Okay, so as I'd mentioned before, for the STEM program, for how do you get a Cub Scout or Scouts BSA Nova activity going, or Supernova activity? It involves planning, evaluating. It's a team environment. it's hosting, there's follow-up, there's advertising and tracking. You'll definitely, the key thing is a Supernova mentor and a Nova counselor. The youth will want to reach out and thank on behalf of all of the adults, the youth that are allowing us to be able to teach them the skills to further their careers. One of my committee members is from the National Area Council STEM Committee, and he helped put some of these slides together. So Jason was very involved with this, so I want to thank his efforts on that. The key thing is you want to, as I mentioned before, you want to be able to promote and advertise what's going on. And you also want to follow up with the students and the volunteers and your support staff and thank them for helping you out, as well as getting their feedback and the students' feedback, and how can you make the course even better. Okay, so now, so why Novas? What's involved with it? So as far as once you've got the training, once you've registered, there's 5 parts to every Nova. You're going to either read, watch, or listen based on the age appropriate program that you're in. You're going to do a scout related activity. You're going to do a specific activity to explore the topic even more so. And you're going to visit with an expert that's going to shed some light even more so on what the topic is. You cannot do it just like a den leader or an assistant scoutmaster, or a scoutmaster for that matter, or a crew advisor. You cannot be an expert in all areas. Get the parents, do a parent survey, find out the parents what their skills are. If they have a math background or a science or technology background, get them to help you with that. Help them show how easy it's done. They may not have done it, but once you show how easy it is to do and engage them, and they'll really enjoy it as well. And our youth will benefit a great deal as a result of it. Now, as far as building a team, let's see. Why? Building a team, as I was saying, bring in the experts, get other adult scouts, acknowledge them. Experts such as NASA, engineering, delegate to other adults and youth. And find a way to be able to verbalize and thank them publicly and how they've been able to help. When you advertise, let's see, something. Okay, there we go. So one of the Cub Scout one that's an example is Out of This World. Typically, you could have a group size about 25 to 30, and the venue could be at a Zoom meeting, or it could be at an observatory, or it could be out in the outdoors in the evening. In this case, the Supernova mentor or the Nova counselor that did the Out of This World, he did it a Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3. So some of the planning / activities, you want to have the main attraction, 30 to 45 minutes, the speaker, a tour, you have 10 to 15 minutes to be able to learn about it. And so like one example, how much do you weigh on Earth versus how much do you weigh on the moon? And then you would do the legwork and be able to figure out, what's involved with that. And then if you have a youth or two that really is very curious about that, okay, have them pick another planet and figure out what they would do there. And then for the final thing, for what they would be able to do is read, watch, and listen, which is listed in the requirements online. The key thing is you want to make sure the youth are having fun and they're doing something exciting and interesting that should focus on the STEM topic. It's not a matter of the goal is not to just go through the motions and get something done. You as the presenter and your assistants, you want to have fun as much, because if you're showing enthusiasm and fun, the youth are going to pick up on it and they're going to want to be very involved and have more questions later for it. So sometimes an event like a space mission, such as the Perseverance mission to Mars, can be a perfect build around. So you can, or if they're launching, you know, the new telescope or whatever the event is, see what's the news around you and take advantage of it. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. As I was saying before here, so I've covered that. Advertising, you know, obviously in the message, the title, you know, the 5 W's and the contact information for if there's any questions. Delivery, you know, the timing and target of your audience. Is it the local PACs, district, STEM coordinator, emails? You know, how do you get the word out? Is it virtually, whether it's district, you know, like a round table, or district activity, council activity, or summer camp or day camp, resident camp, national, if there's a national or regional event. You know, Facebook, there's all sorts of different ideas. Talk up the program and up other programs, and oh, by the way, they will reciprocate and want to be part of your program. So here's an example of a sample PR that was put out there. So you had the STEM at home, you had the Cubs Nova sessions, you had the time, you know, on Zoom. Well, what was the adventure that the Cub Scouts could work about? In this case, is learning about binary code and exploring algorithms. Meet real cryptography expert. Start looking at statistics and flipping of a coin. Or one of the examples was given to me is, okay, you open up a bag of peanut M&Ms, do the statistics on the colors that you get there. You know, Facebook groups are powerful. Use them. They share a lot of good ideas with it. So for example, with the Nova Cub Scouts, there's 3,300 members. We're the Scout BSA family scouting. There's almost 10,000 members involved. So utilize, take advantage of all of that. Track your progress, as mentioned, and this is one thing that Lisa and Chris and Amy and myself have discovered, is the documentation, whether it's in Scout Book or the Internet Advancement or a spreadsheet. I've actually, one of the youth that was working on some of you have heard the International Space Station program that one of the troops worked on. One of the youth approached me and said, I've got 45 merit badges. I'm doing water polo. I'm doing honors classes, and I want to be involved with the space station experiment. I don't have time to have to earn another 1 or 2 merit badges because I misapplied it. So he helped me. I helped him help me do a spreadsheet that was able to figure out what merit badge, what adventure from Cub Scout, et cetera, that they could work on so they could take advantage of everything that they were interested in. Other things is some of the other councils and districts use Google Classroom to be able to do stuff online. Is there a base camp? You have it at camp. So there's a whole slew of different ways to do it. Be creative. I know we're in the infancy standpoint as far as PTAC, but it's very easy. So like, for example, here's an example where on the classroom, it shows the prerequisites, what the dates are, and there's actual interaction with the parent and with the kid and with the instructor that's using Google Classrooms. The key thing is Be yourself. Show that you're passionate about the topic. Write a script. Be genuine. If you don't know something, admit it. Okay, you don't be afraid. And that's one of the things you saw with the space station program. We had 2 PhD scientists working with our group, and the youth would ask some questions, and the adults said, I don't know that answer fully to benefit you. Let me go back and I'll bring the answer back to you our next meeting. So, and again, make sure you always thank those from an acknowledgement that helped run the class. Hosting, tell, show, do, and review. So like, for example, making a paper airplane fly super high, okay? So maybe it only went 5 feet up, 5 feet in the air, and only went, say, 15 feet. How can you, by having the youth explore, how can you make it go farther, higher, et cetera? Or maybe you want to do a left turn or a bank left or right turn and climb and then dive. So experiment with them. Let the youth discover what it's all about. Let them make sure that they ask questions. Listen to what the youth are saying, because if they may give you the direction, you may think these 4 areas are what we want to cover, but if the youth take you on a tangent and you get to the end result of them learning something, then listen to them and go that route. Let's see. Once you feel the task is done, start reviewing. You don't have to wait. Everybody will catch up when the time is to move on. Effective questions are the key effective learning. Similarly, effective listening is what is understood and what needs to work. Address each person specifically. Get them engaged. Don't, if you have 3 or 4 people that seem to be answering most of the questions or engagement, get them involved or get other people involved. Let's see. Closing discussion, what works? Was it fun? Was there something else that we didn't quite do? What requirements were covered? Again, as I mentioned, thank the team and the speakers. And by the way, I look forward to working with all of you again. As a public PBS standpoint, stay curious. It's a call to action. I wish you happy painting and God bless my friend. This was a quote that one of my presenters actually used. And again, make sure you, even a follow-up thank you note or an email is a good way to reach out, a few days later and thank them. Okay, let's see. Evaluate, make an effort to, let's see, hang on, let me get. Evaluate and have the youth help you evaluate while it's still fresh. Seek constructive feedback and be honest with yourself. Sometimes, as adults, and older youth, we may be not willing to hear what we really truly need to hear. Was it long-winded, or was it too short? Were people did a group of people not do the work ahead of time? What could you do differently to make sure that everybody was more prepared? In summary, keep it simple. Make it sure it's easy to execute. Be passionate. Build a team around you so it's not a one-person show. Advertise, get the word out. Organize. Acknowledge the people that are helping you, and thank the participants for being involved with it as well. Again, summary: tell, show, do, and review. Question and listen. It's all about the youth, as we know. May you successfully inspire the next generation of STEM youth and older youth so that they become the future leaders in the scouting movement in our country. With that, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Don. Any questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a quick question. So in order for the troop to start working for the for those awards, do you have to have a NOVA counselor on the charter, or can you use a NOVA counselor from like a different troop?
Yes, you can. It's just, that's a good question. So like, for example, one of the NOVAs we worked on in the troop is I actually had a merit badge counselor come in from another district and actually present. A friend that I knew was a merit badge counselor for space exploration. He was very passionate. I'd seen him in the past doing it. So, and he lived fairly close, and he was willing to come in and be that counselor, work with the youth on that. So yeah, but so same way with the, besides merit badge counselor or from the exploring, or I mean, for the venturing and Sea Scouts, the explorations, you know, if you have someone that's very knowledgeable or a subject matter expert, bring them in from another area. But as far as the NOVA counselor and the supernova mentor, yeah, there's not a problem with, you know, getting someone involved. In fact, some of the people on my national committee, we've actually gone from, say, St. Louis or the Chicago area or the Washington, D.C. area and train someone in Arizona or so, but we'll get 2 or 3 people involved. So it's not to teach you how to present you and show you how to do it, but then I'm going to have you learn it and do it as we're going. So then that way I can step back the second time and you can run with it.
Don, do you have a list of STEM counselors currently and broken down by district?
I had asked Lisa Zimian to do that for me. I don't know if it's currently up to date, but that
Okay.
There's like 3 or 4 districts that are really passionate about it. And I know when we were doing it with the Legacy, Blackhawk, Northwoods, Signal Hill, and Pathfinder districts, I actually had Lisa Early and myself, we actually went and recruited 3 or 4 supernova mentors in each district because we knew the people across all 4 districts. Now, I have not been involved at the PTAC level because until recently, like Colleen, I know is very passionate about it.
Yes.
There's a couple of others that, and I don't want to miss anybody that might be very passionate about it. But there are some great people that are willing to spend the time. Norm McFarland, who's part of Trailblazer, he was district chairs for STEM. So I have gotten him involved where we've done roundtable presentations for people that were interested in that. So just let us know, or let me know, and we can get that word out.
Yeah, I'd like to build it up in Portage Creek, certainly.
Yeah, and then another question. So I see there is a couple. So besides doing the online training and filing your application with is there like a classroom training or would discount towards it? Like how does that, is there anything else that needs to be done?
Okay, I didn't quite hear, is obviously besides youth protection training and the online training, which you, for at least for to get started, I mean, basically what you got right here today was the 3 segments that have been updated that you see on Scouting U right now, or My.Scouting. If you go in and there's 3 topics, so go through that and it would formally log you through that. So when the dust settles, one of the things we've learned, even how to become an effective supernova mentor for Scouts, for Cub Scouts, Scouts, and Sea Scouts, that's fine for the first 2. But to be a supernova mentor for the Albert Einstein Award, that's, you almost need to have a PhD specialized in a specific area. And we've actually had 2 or 3, as Chris and Amy know, we've actually had 2 or 3 mentors that have hurt the youth in their growth in the STEM fields. And we've actually had to reassign them to people to be able to challenge them to the next level where they needed to go. So that's one of the reasons why we want to make sure that folks are registered, they've had the training. And it is, as you know, if you're a commissioner, you know, you don't go to training one time and then you're done. Stuff is constantly changing, and we're making tweaks to the program to make it even more effective. So the long and the short of it is do the 3 segments is, you know, what is STEM, or what is the STEM Nova? What is the Nova Counselor, Supernova Mentor? Those are the 3 modules that you can get on myscouting.org. And then just register as, and you can register for both. And the other thing is, effective as of this year, for 2021, you did not have to enlist on both of them, but you have to initially do it. And there's 2 different, you have to turn in 2 applications, one for the Nova Counselor and one for the Supernova Mentor. And just by updating it, because one of the things we've discovered across the country is people say, well, I'm registered in as a Supernova Mentor. And as we pull the string, we find out they haven't been registered for 4 or 5 years. Now, that's not helping the youth.
Now, another quick question. Does that have to be done yearly, or how does that work? You have to re-register yearly on a charter, or?
No, you're basically, I believe it's at the district level, and either Lisa or Kathy, one of the staff people in PTAC will actually automatically, just like with the merit badge counselors, and Chris, maybe you might be able to shed some light on that, or Tom, or Carol, because I haven't followed that quite as close.
Isn't that a council level registration, just like merit badge counselors?
It's actually by, I think it's by district.
Okay, because merit badge counselors are actually registered with the council, not specifically, I don't think, with the district.
Right.
You are
Okay.
correct.
Well, it's interesting because a couple of the adults that I went in and checked, Carol and Tom, is they actually had the district that they said Supernova Mentor in District X, whatever it happened to be. So that's why
They can break it. Yeah, they can break it down by district, but I suspect you're correct, Carol, that this would be a council-wide registration.
Right. So again, with a council STEM committee, those are some of the administrative things that they would go through and decide. You know, is it at the district level, at the council level that gets approved? You know, when the awards, et cetera. So, but right now, working with Amy and Chris, trying to do the best for everybody, you know, to get it moving off of square zero.
Thank you so much.
Don, not to put you on the spot, but is there an email address that you might be able to provide in case anyone thinks of any questions, or someone who's watching this?
Good point. In fact, what I'll do, I'll go ahead and get in the chat if I can
Oh, absolutely.
do that. Okay, here we go.
While Don's doing that, just there we go.
Hold on.
Actually,
I went and hit enter thinking it was going to skip down a line, but it didn't. So I'm putting my phone number in as well. So just a second.
no problem, no problem. And while Don's doing that, just want to thank him, of course, for taking the time out to extend his knowledge. And thanks to the entire group for joining us today and spreading the good word. And here's Don's phone number as well. It's coming over. Okay. Go ahead, Don. Sorry.
Yeah, one thing that for both Carol and Chris and Tom, if there's something that you can see that would be able to make it even a better presentation, let me know. I'm open to feedback. And same way with the participants that saw it for the first time, you know, we're always looking to improve it. I like to borrow and share ideas. So there's no sacredness to where, as far as, you know, I'll borrow shamelessly and give credit. Then it's my idea afterwards.
Amen. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks again to Mr. Don Harris here for everything. Thank you guys for joining us. And remember, every third Thursday of every month, please join us for different topics. Next month's topic is merit badge counselor training. So please spread the word and have a very, very safe evening.
So Chris, one of the things,
Thank you so much.
one of the things I was thinking about, you know, there's another presentation that I did not go into at all, but one of the other things that one of my national people basically, how can you take all of the activities you get involved with and then show how it's STEM related? So there's a lot of things that you're already doing already as a pack or troop or crew or Sea Scout. You may not realize that it is STEM related. So that way you can take advantage so that they can discover it behind the scenes.
I'd love to see that, Don.
Yeah, like stealth advancement, but stealth STEM.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So I want to add out there. In fact, one of the gals that's in National Area Council, basically the person that she recruited, standing ovation, and 8 or 9 people reached out to her that they wanted to see it again in different venues. So, I mean, it was really down to earth, and it wasn't about STEM or NOVAs, or it was what type of activities. Something as simple as Pinewood Derby or space or rain gutter regatta, or, you know, or like pioneering, you know, building a monkey bridge or whatever, starting a fire or doing cooking, you know.
Are you going to send the PowerPoint out like you usually do, Chris?
I will be, yes.
Okay. And hey, just on a personal note, I saw your email about the merit badge thing, the other sessions. I think I'm going to be home that weekend. I don't know that I care exactly what I help with, but I will let you know when I get home this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Be
Yep.
safe.
All right, later. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Drive safe. Travel safe.
Thanks.